I'm back at you. This is Rabbi Blake, and it's my opportunity to present a little bit of the Torah this week, and an auspicious week it is because we're starting a new book of the Torah. In English, we know the book as Leviticus, but in Hebrew we call it Vayikra, and it is named for the first word in its opening portion. Vayikra, which means God called. In this case, God called to Moses. So we're looking at Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1, if you'd like to look at your Bible. But in order to highlight the point that I wish to make this week, you would actually need to look at the Torah scroll itself, where the word Vayikra in Hebrew is written in a very unusual way. It is written with the final letter, which is the Hebrew letter Aleph, half size. So you've got the word Vayikra, meaning God called to Moses, but the last letter of that word is a pint-size little aleph. The rabbis were curious about this stylistic detail in the Torah. They said, what is the deal with the pint-size aleph? And they made a point about the character of Moses that I think has much to say to us today. They said that the little aleph was a comment on Moses' own humility. That the very reason God summoned Moses to the task of leadership was not because he was the kind of leader who puffed himself up, who through self-aggrandizement wished to present himself as the best or the only candidate. No. The rabbi said it was precisely Moses' ability to make himself a little bit smaller, not to call attention to himself, that qualified him to be the leader for the Israelite people. And what a powerful message this is for us today. That true greatness comes not from making ourselves bigger than we really are, not from presenting ourselves necessarily as the best, the most qualified, but rather from taking a step back and doing what the mystics of our Jewish tradition called tzimtzum. It's a great Automatic word that means to contract into oneself, to make oneself just a little bit smaller. Not to the point of total self-abasement, but rather to the level that one is not calling attention to oneself, but rather lets one's own best qualities speak for themselves. I'd also commend to you a wonderful editorial in today's New York Times, that's Friday, March 11th, 2011, by regular columnist David Brooks, where he talks exactly about this. He actually says that it seems to be in America we have a growing instance of people who have a higher self-regard for themselves than they would have even a generation ago. Whereas in countries that outperform us in some measures as academic achievement and others, actually have lower regard for how good they are in these subjects. Something to think about, something to contemplate, something to help us become our best selves. Shabbat Shalom.